China is a very large country with a long history of autocratic rulers called emperors. These emperors had different ways of memorializing themselves. One of the strangest was discovered accidentally by a peasant farmer in 1974. His discovery was south of Beijing and north of Hong Kong, near the city of Xi'an. I hired a guide, and she took me by taxi the 20 or so miles from downtown Xi'an to a small village where there was a shop creating look-alike Terracotta Warriors. These were for sale to tourists. The process this shop used was the same one used by the terracotta creators thousands of years ago. They used the same local clay to produce these lookalikes as the original creators did. The small figures are made by putting the moist clay into a two-part mold. They are put together, and then the mold is opened and the piece set out to dry. Then someone touches it up. Each figure is individual. No two are the same. They are put in a special rack to dry. As they dry, they get lighter in color. The smaller the piece, the faster they dry. These smallest pieces dry in one day. Then they go into a kiln or oven to be fired. During this process, the color turns more toward the black. The piece becomes hard. Now, the figure is hollow on the inside, so it is light in weight. This shop also makes full-sized warriors. It takes the same steps as for the small ones. However, after the piece comes out of the mold, there's some touch-up. Then it takes about a week for one of these large pieces to dry. It goes into the kiln and is heated very slowly so it doesn't break. And this process takes a month. After the piece comes out, then it has to be painted and touched up again. The whole process to create one full-scale piece is about 2 months. Now, each warrior, as I said, is unique, yet they have characteristics which identify them as a general, or as a soldier, or as a captain, or as an archer, for instance. The guide will explain.
The flathead.
A captain.
Officer. Yeah, the captain. Yeah. And one knot, the single knot. Knot on the right side. Standing one. This guy is a soldier. Common soldier.
Hair knot on the right side, a soldier.
The one knot by the other side, kneeling position. This guy is an archer.
Hair knot on the left side, an archer.
The knot on the different side, right? Easy to remember. You know, archer use the weapons, the arrow, on the back. And most people will use the right hand. We take from this side. So the hair on the other side. So the archer, not on the left. Yes. And this guy, a wrong hand. This guy in the museum, all stand with a horse. The horseman.
A horseman. Okay, let's get out to the museum complex. You park your car quite a distance from where the entrance is, so a free shuttle cart takes you to the entrance. We were hungry, so the first thing I did was stop at a large museum restaurant. I was fascinated by the food preparation. They were feeding crowds of people. The museum itself is divided into several different sections or digs. They call them pits. The 2,000-year-old terracotta armies were found under a protective roof of wood and dirt. The wavy-like flat area is what the ground looked like covering the warriors. The careful uncovering of the area is taking decades of manual labor. This shows what was found under the roof of one small location. Notice that most of the figures show damage. When these terracotta warriors were originally created, they each carried real weapons. So a sword that they carried would be a metal sword. Thieves came in later, broke in, and stole all the metal for its value. Now, to preserve what they found, the craftsmen painstakingly reassemble the broken or damaged terracotta warriors so they look new before putting them on display in this museum. Some of the especially nice figures have been housed in see-through protective walls. You can stand fairly close to them and get a sense of the detail and workmanship. This is a medium-sized pit. You can see that there's still plenty of work left to be done to uncover all the treasures. Each of the pits, or excavation areas, is enclosed in a modern building. Everything is clean. Throngs of tourists visit each day. This is the largest pit, pit number 1. It is so large it can hold 4 football fields inside. They have done the most extensive restoration here. And it's here one can appreciate the magnitude of the emperor's army, thousands of terracotta soldiers who were supposed to protect him after he died. These are all warriors because their hair knot is on the right side of their head. In 2007, it was estimated that there are about 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots, 520 horses. Most remain buried, yet to be excavated. Now, there are a number of these archaeological finds in the neighborhood. Each is an easy walk or jitney ride away. Here is a marvelous chariot exhibit. It took the archaeologists 8 years to complete it. This is another chariot made from clay. Now we're back at pit number 1, the largest dig. You can see the extent and quantity of terracotta warriors which have been uncovered and restored. Each of these was damaged or in pieces before being restored to this status. The soldiers go on, and of course, they're life-sized. The crowds are appreciative. Here is some detail. You can see that there's still plenty of area in pit number 1 that has to be examined. Now we'll visit some of the smaller digs. Again, we take an electric shuttle. This dig was discovered 25 years after the first one, and exploration is still going on when I was there. Here, the technicians are carefully removing the dirt around the terracotta objects. These terracotta pieces were all constructed the same way. First, it was generated in the clay mold, then they were fired in a kiln, and finally they were hand painted with colors. You can see how slow a process it is to safely unearth these relics. Here's the entrance to still another pit. It's pit number 6. It's much smaller than the others we've seen. Then it's back to the electric shuttle and the car parking area. Along with many tourist buses, we start our drive back to the hotel in the center of town. It's been a great day seeing one of the wonders of the ancient world.